The moment Eliza pushed through the heavy glass doors of the cypress room, she knew something was wrong. The air, smelling of expensive wine and fresh roses, couldn't mask the faint, sharp scent of industrial polish clinging to her own skin. She'd spent 3 hours cleaning these very marble floors on her hands and knees, making them gleam. Now she was here as a guest, or so she thought. She clutched her simple purse, hiding her rough, calloused hands. It was a chilly November evening in Charlotte, just a week before Thanksgiving, and the exclusive restaurant was sparkling. Under the bright crystal chandeliers, she spotted her husband, Marcus. He stood near the entrance, looking handsome in an expensive suit, his back to her. But the smile he wore as he spoke to his family vanished the instant he turned and saw her. His face, usually so charming, twisted into a look of pure disgust. Alongside him stood his mother, Eleanor, who looked at Eliza with open contempt, as if she were something dirty that had wandered in off the street. And beside Marcus, a young, beautiful woman in a stunning red dress rested her hand possessively on his arm. "Marcus," Eliza called out, her voice small in the grand, judgmental room. The nearby tables went quiet. Guests were visibly staring. "What's going on? You texted me. You said family dinner." Marcus cut her off, stepping forward. "Eliza, this is a private event," he said, his voice dripping with fake patience. "This is for important people. People with real careers, real contributions." The woman in red giggled. Eliza flinched. "I'm your wife, Marcus." He said it loudly then, intentionally, for everyone to hear. "And you're a cleaner. You scrub toilets for a living. You smell like bleach. Did you really think I'd want you embarrassing me here?" The words hit her like a slap. Marcus pulled the woman in red closer, wrapping his arm around her waist. "Everyone," he announced to his family, "I want you to meet Chloe. She's a marketing executive. Smart, successful. This is the kind of partner a man like me deserves." Marcus signaled a young security guard. "You need to leave," he said, his voice flat. "You're making everyone uncomfortable. Go back to whatever building you're cleaning tonight. That's where you belong." Can you even imagine the humiliation? He just threw his own wife out like she was nothing. But here at Black King, we know that pride always comes before the fall. If you are hooked on this story and you're rooting for justice, let me know you're here by commenting with the number 8 below. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss what happens next. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Your support is what allows us to create these powerful stories that inspire and empower you. He thinks he's won. Now, let's see what Eliza does next. Eliza stood on the cold sidewalk, the restaurant glowing like a jewel box behind her. Through the glass, she watched them raise their champagne glasses and heard Marcus's muffled voice announce, "To new beginnings." She didn't cry. The humiliation of being called a street cleaner and told to go back where you belong had already cooled into a diamond-hard resolve. They had no idea. The street cleaner they just humiliated didn't just own the restaurant they were sitting in. She owned the entire building. She hailed a taxi, ignoring the driver's curious glance at her simple dress. She gave an address not to the modest house she shared with Marcus, but to a luxury high-rise in uptown Charlotte. The doorman, in his crisp uniform, immediately stepped forward. "Good evening, Miss Eliza. Welcome home." The elevator opened directly into her real home, a stunning secret penthouse on the 42nd floor, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. The cleaner was gone. The CEO was present. She poured a glass of wine, her hand steady, and stood at the window, watching the city lights. She made one call. "Julian," she said, her voice even. "He did it." She calmly recounted the events at the restaurant. Julian's voice on the other end was tight with a controlled rage. "He did what?" Eliza cut him off. "It's fine. It's time. I want you to buy the building his firm leases on Madison Street. Offer them double what it's worth. I want it by Monday." There was a brief pause. "Consider it done," Julian replied. "What else?" Eliza looked at her reflection in the dark glass. "Find out who his biggest clients are. I want to know which ones we can get." "And Julian," Eliza added, "he's about to find out what he lost. He's about to find out what he never had in the first place." The next day, Eliza drove her old, beat-up Honda, the cleaner's car Marcus insisted she keep, to the small house they shared. She already knew what she would find. She stepped inside. The living room was a disaster. Her clothes, her books, her few personal items were all stuffed into black garbage bags piled by the door. Her family photos had been ripped from the walls and tossed in a pile on the floor. Marcus emerged from the bedroom, smelling of expensive cologne and impatience, already dressed in a sharp suit. "Finally," he said, checking his watch. "As you can see, I'm packing your things. This marriage is over." Eliza said nothing, playing the part he expected, the small, defeated wife. "I'm making 6 figures now, Eliza," he announced, pacing. "I'm successful. I need a wife who matches my lifestyle, not this." He gestured to her simple clothes. "You're holding me back." He slapped a stack of divorce papers on the kitchen table. "Sign these. You get nothing. You came into this marriage with nothing. You contributed nothing. The house is mine. The bank accounts are mine. You can take your cleaning supplies and be gone by 9 o'clock. He smirked. "Chloe is moving in tomorrow. We're starting fresh." He grabbed his keys and left, slamming the door on his way to dinner with the partner he deserved. Alone in the wrecked room, Eliza calmly walked to the pile of photos on the floor and quietly rescued the only one that mattered, a faded picture of her late mother. She tucked it safely in her purse. Then she picked up the divorce papers. She read them carefully. It was just as she'd hoped, a clean break. He was asking for nothing because he truly believed she had nothing. She picked up a pen and signed her name on every page with a steady, elegant hand. She took photos of the signed pages, left the house key on the table, and got into her old car. She called Julian. "It's done. I've signed." He just kicked out a street cleaner with nothing. He has no idea he just set a billionaire free. He just signed his own doom, and he doesn't even know it. Marcus thinks the game is over, but the game hasn't even begun. Here at Black King, we know that what goes around always comes around. If you are on the edge of your seat and ready for Eliza's comeback, show us you're part of the family by commenting with the number 8 below. And if you want to see Marcus get everything he deserves, make sure you subscribe to Black King and hit that notification bell. Your support is what fuels these powerful stories of justice and inspiration. He thinks he's free. Now let's watch his world unravel. On Monday morning, Marcus strode into the parking garage of his firm, whistling, ready to start his new Chloe-approved life, only to find an empty space where his Audi should be. A tow truck driver was standing nearby, finalizing paperwork. "Hey, where's my car?" Marcus yelled. The driver glanced up, unimpressed. "Audi A8? Repossessed. Cosigner defaulted on the loan." Marcus stormed into his office, screaming at his assistant about his car, only to be met by his partner, pale and holding a letter. "Forget the car," his partner shouted. "Did you see this? The building's been sold. Our rent is tripling, effective next month. It's some holding company. Empire Holdings." As Marcus tried to process this, his assistant buzzed in, her voice trembling. "Mr. Hamilton is on line 1. He's terminating his contract." Before Marcus could respond, she buzzed again. "Line 2, the hotel group is pulling out." The morning descended into chaos. The Charlotte Business Journal article had gone live, detailing the rise of the city's newest mogul, Eliza Foster, CEO of Empire Cleaners. All his clients had seen it. Desperate to salvage his reputation and network his way out of the crisis, Marcus rushed to the Charlotte Business Association luncheon at a downtown hotel. He needed to find new clients fast. He sat at a table in the back, sweating through his suit. The luncheon host took the stage. "We're thrilled to introduce our keynote speaker, the mysterious and brilliant CEO who's changing the industry, the owner of Empire Cleaners, Miss Eliza Foster." Eliza walked onto the stage. She wasn't the woman in the simple dress. This Eliza was wearing a sharp, navy blue suit, her hair styled perfectly, radiating power. Marcus went white. Their eyes locked across the room. The street cleaner was the Empire. Marcus stumbles out of the ballroom, hyperventilating. He calls Chloe desperate. It's all a lie. She has money. She has. A text message interrupts him. "It's from Chloe, I know. I saw the Business Journal article. Don't contact me again. Having lost his firm, his car, and his mistress in a single day, a desperate Marcus showed up at the only place he thought Eliza could be, the small, rundown apartment she'd kept as her cover story. It was, of course, empty. He spent hours banging on the door before a neighbor told him she'd moved out. Frantic, he eventually found the address for the Empire Cleaners headquarters, a sleek, intimidatingly modern building he'd driven past 1,000 times but never noticed. He forced his way past the front desk, shouting Eliza's name, until security detained him in the lobby. He was a complete wreck. His clothes were wrinkled from the day before, his eyes wild with panic and sleeplessness. Eliza arrived, flanked by Julian and a security guard. She was the picture of composure, her face calm and unreadable. "Eliza! Thank God!" Marcus shouted, straining against the guards. "You have to help me. You've destroyed my life." Eliza stopped a safe distance away. "No, Marcus. You destroyed your own life. You assumed I was nothing because I cleaned floors. You assumed I was simple because I dressed simply. Those were your assumptions, not my lies." His anger suddenly collapsed, replaced by pathetic begging. "Please. I'm sorry. I was wrong. We can fix this. We can get back together." He scrambled forward, falling to his knees and grabbing at her suit. "Think of it. With your money and my business sense, we could be unstoppable." And there it was. The real reason. Eliza looked down at him, her face devoid of all emotion. "You don't love me, Marcus. You love my money. You are dismissed." Eliza turned and walked toward the elevator without looking back. "This isn't over," Marcus screamed, as security dragged him out. "You hear me? It's not over." But as the elevator doors slid shut, Eliza knows it is. 1 year later, Eliza stood at a podium in the Cypress Room, the same room where she had been called a street cleaner. But tonight, the crystal chandeliers sparkled for her. She wasn't cleaning them, and she wasn't being thrown out. She owned the building now. The room was filled not with snobs, but with employees, supporters, and journalists for the first Workers' Rights Foundation Gala, an organization she had founded. She looked radiant. "A year ago, I was told I didn't belong in this room because of my job," she said, her voice steady and warm. "Tonight, we are here to celebrate all work. The true measure of a person is not their job title, but how they treat the people they believe have no power. Every worker deserves dignity." The room erupted in a standing ovation. She stepped down and joined Julian at the front table, who was now her husband. He squeezed her hand. "Your mother would be so proud," he whispered. As for Marcus, he was a footnote. After being arrested for theft, he had lost his license for professional fraud and was reportedly working a minimum wage job in another state, facing the consequences of his own choices. Julian smiled. "I have something for you." He handed her a framed document. It was the Evelyn Foster Memorial Scholarship, named after Eliza's late mother, personally funded by them to help working-class women start their own businesses. Eliza cried, tears of pure joy. "How did I get so lucky?" Julian kissed her. "Luck had nothing to do with it. You earned this." They got up to dance, and Eliza looked around the room she now owned, filled with people supporting her cause. She realized the best revenge wasn't destroying Marcus. It was building a life so full of love and purpose that Marcus simply became irrelevant. In the end, Eliza's story reminds us that true worth is never defined by a job title or the judgment of others, but by our own integrity and kindness. Like a hidden foundation, character is invisible until it is tested. When we choose to see beyond the surface, beyond the uniform or the simple dress, we open the door to true compassion and discover the empires hidden within everyone. If this story touched your heart, consider sharing that warmth with someone who might feel invisible today.